Hello and welcome to the Cormac Crosshaven Computers podcast. Thanks very much for tuning in. And this is going to be a bit of a different little podcast. It's only going to be for 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about the tools I use myself in my own business. The guest we have this Wednesday night apparently had to cancel at the last minute. That's not a problem. They have a newborn baby. We understand that. That's not a problem. And I'm just going to carry on because I want to keep something up on Wednesday nights. But this is only going to be a quick one, and excuse the sound because this is in my own kind of studio room at home, and I'm still working on the sound, so it's a bit hollow at the moment. So kind of using this as a test one. So bear with me, and thanks for tuning in. And I'm actually going to be recording the main podcast tomorrow night, so we'll release it then. So thanks very much again, and maybe I'll ask myself some of the questions. And it'll be a good opportunity for me to introduce myself to the people who don't know me from the Facebook groups and TikTok, and who are just tuning into this podcast because they have an interest in tech. This podcast is all about what tools of the trade techs use around the world. And to begin with, I suppose I'll tell you a tiny bit about Crosshaven Computers. I started it few years back now, bootstrapped the whole business up. I got into tech later on in life. So, I was nearly 40, my job finished, big debts, the whole lot. Bought a house in 2008, just before the crash. So don't take financial advice off me. That wouldn't be the way to do it. So the reason I'm telling you the backstory a bit is that I started this business with absolutely no money. Good thing about it, couldn't let you make any expensive mistakes. I didn't have the money to make the mistakes. So I started off just at home. I had a mortgage to pay. So I started a course, computer course, and I had to work myself through that computer course. So I kind of had a word with the teacher and said, off the record, I need to be able to work. So he was good enough to let me bring in some things to help, and the class would help out. And we would all kind of learn. And obviously I was able to make a little bit of money to pay my mortgage and stuff like that. And we started at home and worked up the way up. And now we have a shop in Carrigaline. We're doing quite well in the sense that, we're selling a lot more computers. We sell all new computers now. I've a lot of business customers, a lot of residential customers. I'll go into more the backstory on that sometime. But people are here to find out what tools I use as a tech. I'll start off actually with the tool I use to manage everything in the shop. We use zero bookkeeping, which is important, but we actually use Synchro MSP. Synchro MSP is just outstanding. I think the price of it is around 140 quid a month. You can resell your antivirus through it and control it. We use MeSoft. We can deploy it on customers' computers, which is absolutely great because it's remote tools. So you can book in all the tickets with it. It's just an amazing piece of software. It kind of monitors the hardware of computers. It makes my life so fantastic because you can put it on as many computers as you want without any extra charge. So we'll say if there's a business customer who has a problem, I just remote in, I can see off problems that way. And you can look up, you can book, the customer books in the computer, you can send ticket updates, text updates. We try for every computer that is booked in, we try to probably send 4 or 5 tickets updates. You book in, you get a ticket saying, text saying you booked in. We'll say we're a text when you're starting the diagnostic, and then etc. Past that. Now, obviously, you don't want to over spam the customer, but you do want the customer to feel like, right, we left it there. You might even tell them we're very busy, it might take 2 or 3 days. Always over tell them. So if you get it back sooner, happy days, it looks better for you. But also, they're less worried about it when you know that it's been worked on. If you're getting text saying it's been worked on, there's good marketing about this before. Even if someone was saying, even if you're waiting for hospital appointments, it's 6 months. But if you get a text to say you're lying, it makes the wait less feel like a wait, if you get my meaning. So if a customer is being kept informed right through the process, they're okay, really, because we're like everyone else, we can get extremely busy. But if I hand my car into the mechanics, I don't mind if I'm being told that, yeah, it's going to be 3 days, we'll say. But if they text me the next day, we're starting working on it, blah, blah, blah. But after 3 days, if I heard nothing off them, I'm getting anxious, even though they said 3 days. I'm like, why aren't they doing anything? They could be working on it. Who knows? So it's better customer service for that. One of the first tools we'll use when a customer comes in, and we use this on every laptop basically, is Malwarebytes TechBench. Now, TechBench is different to Malwarebytes antivirus in a sense. We'll put the USB in, it will scan the computer in a matter of seconds and will tell us if there's any hardware issues like the hard drive, which is great for if you need to persuade a customer, or not persuade a customer, inform the customer they need an SSD. Any computer that comes in with one of those old-fashioned hard drives, even if it reads that it passed, it's failed. There's no place for those old mechanical drives in modern computing. There's not, and I feel if you hand it back to the customer, you're not doing them a service. They're also getting a bad user experience when they touch the laptop. And even if you do an install on one of those drives, a clean install, the situation being is that it's going to slow down. But you put in a SSD into a computer, even one of the older computers, and wham bam, they think you're a magician. That's it, you're fabulous. That's the fastest computer. They had Stockholm syndrome, by the way, if they thought that computer was anyway fast up to that point. So all of a sudden, you're flying it, you're ahead straight away. You definitely send a clickable link for a review for one of those ones, So with Malwarebytes, then you can do virus cleanups. It will also give you what's inside the system, what programs are inside the system, and there's also a great feature where you can export documentation about everything that's inside the computer, which you can send to the customer with your second ticket update that we started the diagnostic. Here's what's in the computer. Or if you ring them, we'll finish the diagnostic. Here's what's in the computer, and then you ring them and say that's what you need to be done. It's a must have. I'm not too sure how much it costs, maybe around 300 quid, but it's just, and I think you can get it at the right time. You can get some Malwarebytes anti-malware, which you can resell as well to cover the cost. But without a shadow of a doubt, if you're doing this as a full-time business, I strongly recommend you use that. Obviously, if you're listening to this and you don't have the money for those tools, which I certainly didn't have in the beginning, Crystal Disk is free and it's great for checking the hard drives as well. So without a shadow of a doubt, and then after that, Fabs ought to back up everything. It takes all the user settings, it takes everything. It's very good if you're dealing with Outlook. I suppose Outlook has changed a bit now. It's still crap, let's face it. But it used to be very difficult at times, especially with your old email addresses, getting the settings, the POP and IMAP settings. Oh, I cry even thinking about it. Oh, I cry. Oh my God. I remember you could be hours looking up small, tiny email providers in the back arse of nowhere in Ireland who has a tiny server, and they have been on these emails. Oh my God, you would have to find their settings and blah, blah, blah. And then you had to Fabs used to bring in the autocomplete forms as well. So Fabs, I've said it before, Fabs is a superhero of people in the tech community, without a shadow of a doubt. Besides that, there's we were talking to Celtic Computers a while back, and it's nice actually to reminisce about the older tools. And actually, it's good. I want people who are coming on this podcast to talk about the older tools you used to use, like Hitman Pro, Super Spyware. What's that one again? Oh my God, that was Kenwood was doing loads anyway. And at the time, oh my God, CCleaner. God, we used to use CCleaner. I wouldn't touch it on a computer nowadays, but CCleaner was the go-to thing. Actually, there's something very good that you should download sometime. Windows Repair Toolbox. There's just so much tools inside there. I downloaded it myself again the last night. And being a nerd I am, on a Saturday night there I was playing around with all the old tools. And even I remember Harren's Boot, and you're booting in and you're trying to crack passwords. Definitely anyone starting out, get Harren's Boot. And even the old one, and try to break things. And and kind of hack things in a light sort of way. So that was fun. And the other tools we use on most, let's see what other tools I'd be using on most computers. No, actually, it's mostly Malwarebytes, TechBedge, because as we discussed, there's not that much virus cleanups anymore. I am a big fan of Emisoft. We resell it, but I love being able to deploy it from Synchro. It's just something else, and take it back off computers once the time is up if people don't want to renew. But what I have strong opinions about antiviruses, and I'm bloody well right. I don't care. I hate the ones that pop up all the time, and yeah, we'll say McAfee, we'll say Norton. They pop up all the time. I just don't like it. I think an antivirus should be silent. It shouldn't say anything. Where do I sit on the debate about do we need antiviruses? I actually think we do, in the sense that you need a second line of defense on computers. Are they probably tested much anymore? As in, obviously, when people selling them, but in the sense you don't see viruses much on computers anymore. But I prefer definitely on my own computers. I'll have them, so I recommend them on all business computers. I do. I also found out that if you didn't put them on residential computers, that same computer will come in 6 months later, we'd say, or a year later, they'll have that free AVAST or free AVG. The computer will basically have AIDS for whatever it has on it. And you're kind of going, oh, but I told you use Windows Defender. And they were going, oh, no, I just went to 100 quid on McAfee. So you can't use those nowadays. Do I have a favorite when it comes to computers? I do. Lenovo. I like Lenovo. I love the ThinkPads. I love the ThinkPads. I'm recording this with the hollow sounds probably on a Lenovo Pro Slim X something or another laptop. It's lovely. I got a new, but I actually had to send it off to Lenovo there recently. I just couldn't solve the problem. Every time you change from 60 hertz to 120 hertz, it would flicker, the screen would flicker, and even when you change the setting back, it wouldn't. And that was my second computer. I sent it off to Lenovo and went, that's it. I was after trying it in Linux, which was difficult because it wouldn't bring in the drivers straight for Linux. So after trying everything, Windows 10, everything in it. But when I sent it back, they emailed that there was something to work on. And an hour later, they emailed to say couldn't find a fault. Now I wrote back, I gave them my background and went, no, there's a problem there. And they held on to it, and they had to change some electronics inside it. They didn't tell me what. But I have a sneaking suspicion they knew this fault was out there. But how many people would have actually noticed? It would be more difficult for a recall. Having said all that, I just said I love Lenovo. I love Dell. I do like Dell. Like business class, obviously, there's a difference. I don't, and I made my opinions very clear on my TikTok. In fact, I could be sued or shot by HP. I do feel the lower spec, the average consumer models they sell are crap. And also, I'm getting to feel very strong. And it's kind of like one of the reasons why I don't touch printers either anymore is that printers are banged out for 50 or 60 quid. Yeah, they are too cheap. They're vehicles to sell ink. And then they come, well, we're there to mop up their mistakes. You know, they'll come in and they'll go, oh, my printer's not working this. I'm not spending 3 hours on something that was too cheap. They're just trying to, I'm not doing it. And the same with what I find with the HPs. People are coming in with the HPs and broken hinges. And they're kind of going, oh, can you fix it? And we spent loads of times before trying to fix it. And it's near impossible to fix broken hinges properly. So they're going to crack again. And who's going to get blamed? They're hardly going to go, oh, that's HP's fault. They're going to say, no, he fixed that and messed it up again. The people, these companies are selling terrible, terrible products, and they're expecting us techs to fix their terrible problems. They're walking away with the profits. We're stuck with headaches and unhappy customers. So I'm telling customers, no, you were badly advised, you sold crap. Where I'm very strong on not going against my beliefs in the computer beliefs. We have nearly close to 170 5-star reviews. I could sell cheaper computers without a shadow of a doubt, but I don't, for a reason, because I'm thinking long term. Now another couple of my questions that I have for myself. The loneliest interview in the world. What brands? Yes, definitely trying to push them as Lenovo's on customers. Do I have a particular favorite operating system? I like Linux Mint, but in all fairness, Windows 11 It'll have to be, in the sense that, look, we live in this. I don't do much past that, in the sense that most people nowadays could probably get away with a Chromebook. Chromebooks actually are not a bad operating system. And Windows or Mac, no, forget about it. But I don't like Macs. I just don't like them myself. I just find it really boring. But Chromebooks in general, for the average person, they live in Google anyway. They're not doing too much. Chromebooks, a lady came in and she was traveling around the world. You know, the lady, fair play to her, really fabulous. I love hearing those stories, but I digress. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Lebanon. Just had to throw that in a couple of months. But anyway, I told her to buy a Chromebook rather than a laptop. And she said, but I heard they don't work online. But most places in the world, you're not going to use a laptop if you're not online anymore. Those days are gone, unless you're writing a thesis offline in Bali or someplace. It ain't going. Bali probably has better internet than most of us anyway. I found that when I was in Colombia years ago, they had way better internet than we did at the time. And I was up in the hills, but that's another story. What phones do I prefer? Well, my God, anyone who knows me and listens to me, it's the nothing phone. Nothing phone, nothing phone, nothing phone. The reason being, and that's Android, the reason being it's the first phone in years that is fun. Nothing is more than a phone company. It's a design company. Every bit of it is design, even watching their launches and everything. Now I've been waiting. I've done Nothing Phone 1. I didn't go to Nothing Phone 2 because I was waiting for there's an OS update which would give me practically the same features. It didn't arrive. I'm like a kid at Christmas going, where isn't it there? I got on to Nothing on a Saturday and all. And this email, they got back to me and they apologized, said get back to them Monday. If it didn't come, we got on to Nothing again. And they apologized and said they're having issues, but they're holding off the rollout. You know what? That was okay. Again, communication. What other company will actually email you back and say, look, man, we're sorry about that. We messed up. And if you follow Nothing on their YouTube channels, they're like that. I went to the Nothing store. It was like, oh my God, it was embarrassing. I was jumping around the store. They actually gave me a couple of bags to take away and stuff. I think they should actually give me a Nothing Phone too, because I'm kind of like at this stage nearly a brand for them in Ireland, because I talk about it on my TikTok so much that customers are coming in to me with their Nothing phones. I got an email of someone, or TikTok message of someone today who works for Apple, who said he's ditching it. He's getting his wife the iPhone 13 Pro Max or something, and he's taking the Nothing Phone and he's going to buy the headphones as well. I actually think that I actually have nothing more money selling their phones in Ireland than I am making laptops, selling laptops through TikTok, which is actually, TikTok is a very interesting vehicle that we sell laptops around the country to. And it's amazing. I always find it's amazing that people are ringing you up from around the country to buy laptops, because they get to know you from talking on TikTok. In fact, there's a solicitor there who's brilliant on TikTok, and this is the power of it. This is why I'm talking about it. If I have legal problems, which I might if HB decide to sue me, joke there, maybe, I will get in touch with him, because I feel like I nearly know the guy, and he just gives free advice. And in general, that's what I do on TikTok. I don't do hard sells on TikTok. I just talk and rant, and I just give advice, and I don't push anything, and I just say my opinions on it, and it tends to work. People trust you. I changed my tactics on TikTok last year, and we went from, I don't know, something 300 followers up to nearly 5,000 in a year, which is good. And I've actually begun to on TikTok thinking that people don't actually even follow people anymore, because if you watch their videos, they're going to come up anyway. But I think in one period there last year, or this year, in the over 12-week period, we got over 1 million views on TikTok. That's amazing. Now, I still spend a little money advertising on Facebook, but actually we're getting a lot of business from putting up signs, kind of signs that I'm not meant to really put up, kind of guerrilla marketing, in the sense that I'm just going along the side of the road and just sticking in a Crosshaven Computers sign, which I always found that one morning I was doing it at 5:30 in the morning. Now, I'm trying to do it, well, you're not meant to be doing it anyway, but I was like, well, people won't be looking around. And actually, I remember later on in the day, I text Phil from Tech from Tex. I was like, yeah, we're doing, and Still, people say we're lucky to have a business. We're not. We're hardworking people. And if Graham and Poppy are listening from Celtic Computers, I haven't got a plane yet. Oh, we could get a banner. That's what we need. We need a banner. And apparently Graham and Poppy are making Crosshaven Computers the desktop, and we're flying it in from Wales. So watch out for that TikTok. And I think I'm telling the truth there. So that's it. And I suppose we'll have to talk about the financial side of things in the sense that you can't run a business without getting everything right. So definitely get yourself a good accountant. We were just had a meeting with our accountant today, accountants, and you need the advice on it. You definitely need. I would actually go as far as saying get VAT registered as early as you can as well. It's very important that this is the side of the business that if you're a business owner, you have to, and I know it's a cliche, wear loads of caps. I don't care what way we put it. Have your brain in many directions. But definitely, if you're starting out to a social media course, because even if you're paying for social media, you still want to know where your money is being spent. Because if you're talking about cowboys out there and cowgirls, go into the social media market. They are crap. The majority of them charging loads of money and people don't know. So learn that. Do a small business course without a shadow of a doubt. Do it. I know you love doing texts, but you'll have to learn the business side. I can always remember when I was doing that computer course, all the guys and girls in the class were repairing things one day, and they said to me, "Where are you off?" I said, "I'm off to a social media course." And they said, "Why?" And I said, you could be better than me at repairing computers," which, by the way, no one is, I said. But it doesn't matter how good we are if no one knows you don't exist. And later on that evening, I went out and I looked on how tacky it was. And it was a Sunday night. And I went out and I had a friend of mine, and we were just repairing iPhones at the time, and someone's helping me repair iPhones. And I wanted to publicize it. So, those little soccer goals, kids playing out in the green? I got my friend to throw the iPhone at me, and I had a hurling. And it was a good shot, actually. I must dig up the footage. And I whacked the iPhone. And I remember throwing the hurling over my head and looking directly at the camera and going, "We repair iPhones, not hurleys." And it was one of the most tacky things ever. But that Sunday night, we got 5,000 views because it was shared all around the place, which was a lot for me at the time. And I remember walking down the main street of my village to this day, had people beat me, two people beat me, going, "Hey, I heard you repair iPhones, not Harleys." And that's, do something different in social media. Look, there we're at the 20-minute mark, which is massive. And I was just talking about myself, really. And look, I would really appreciate if people could share this and try to help it grow. And sorry again about the sound. I'm working on it. And also, if anyone wants to get me onto me, because I can only share to Spotify and maybe Apple Music, but I'm working on that as well. So look, thanks very much. And if anyone wants to be a guest on the show, please contact me. I'm starting a new Facebook group just for the podcast to share it around, so some people will be getting invites. And thank you to everyone for their support. Thank you very much. Take it easy.